Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kim Betton, right here on americaswildlife.org, and we are in Madison, Wisconsin at the Conserving the Future Wildlife, Refuges, and the Next Generation Conference going on all week long, starting July the 11th through the 15th. It's a pleasure to be here with two distinguished gentlemen, Mr. Greg Siekaniec. He is the chief of the National Wildlife Refuge System. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Thank you, Kim. Very well.
Very good, very good. And also Mr. Evan Hirsche. He is the president of the National Wildlife Refuge Association. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, Kim, thank you anyway for having us here. And I think it's important to have a vision statement when you look at the extent of change that occurs on the landscape periodically. And you need to think about whether you're addressing the most important conservation issues that are out there, and put yourself sort of in line with how do you feel you can really make a difference on the landscape that delivers conservation for the American people.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first time for such conference in over a decade. Talk about new beginnings all over again for a worthy cause, a good cause. Tell us a little bit about that, Evan, about what you feel this means.
Yeah, you know, Kim, this is a big deal. This is, as you said, the first time we've had anything like this in 10 years. It's an opportunity to look at our conservation strategies. It's an opportunity to talk to the American public and get a sense of what they are looking for in the way of conservation, in terms of recreation, in terms of connecting with the outdoors. So this conference is really an exceptional opportunity to define the future of conservation in this country going forward.
And you know, in the past, over 10 years ago, technology just changes. To me, seems like every 2 seconds. You know, we have more and more with technology. And here we're live streaming video. We have live chats.
We do.
We are available to pretty much anybody who's interested in the National Wildlife Refuge System. So tell me a little bit about what are some of the other conference highlights in addition to all this great technology that we're using right here.
Well, I think the technology is just a start. I think the people that are here, you know, the co-workers, the friends, the state partners, the engagement that we actually have. We have a great contingency of youth because we've really focused a lot on this being about the next generation of conservation leaders. And I think the week will highlight that. I think people will come out of here with the energy that's going to be needed for us to really begin an implementation strategy based off our vision statements.
Right, and would you like to comment on that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a big vision coming out of this conference, and it's a vision that talks about partnerships. It's a vision that talks about working on large landscapes, working with states, with other federal agencies, with private landowners, and the American public to realize a more comprehensive conservation picture. And within that, here at the conference, and also for those who are participating remotely, virtually, there's an opportunity to talk about implementation strategies for how we get there. It's a big vision. It's very exciting, and we have a tremendous opportunity to move forward.
The National Wildlife Refuge System is phenomenal. It's all over the nation, and people can get involved. And we're trying to, at the Fish and Wildlife Service, we're trying to encourage those who may not know as much about the refuge system to get involved. What would you like to share with the public about that?
Well, it's not that we just want people to get involved with the refuge system. We absolutely need them to be involved with the refuge system. You know, we're becoming a very we've transitioned from a rural to a very urban environment. 80% of the people now live in the metropolitan areas. We have national wildlife refuges in many of those areas, but we need to really define and reach out and get them as a constituency base. We need to create refuges of excellence in the urban environment so that we are engaging communities to the fullest extent we can. We need constituents of the American people.
Very good. And where do we go from here, gentlemen? Where do we go from here? We have a lot to do, a lot to learn here at this event that wraps up, the conference rather, that wraps up on Friday. Where do we go from here?
Well, Kim, you know, we arrive at this conference with a vision document that outlines bold new concepts and strategies. And so at this conference, there is an opportunity to talk in detail about how we're going to implement those strategies, how we're going to engage a more diverse public, how we're going to work more effectively across jurisdictions with the states, with the other federal agencies, again, private landowners and others. And so this is an opportunity to put our heads together and define how we're going to implement this vision.
We are embracing social media, we're embracing Facebook. Would you all like to comment about exactly what we're doing here at the conference?
Absolutely, Kim. I mean, this is really exciting. This is an opportunity for, yes, people attending the conference to participate, but it's also an opportunity for the public out there to give us their thoughts and ideas, and they can do that through a number of different mechanisms. First of all, they can watch the proceedings live on americaswildlife.org. They can also follow us on Twitter. They can follow us on Facebook, and also they can provide commentary and input through americaswildlife.org in connection with some of the sessions. So it's a comprehensive way for the American public to be engaged in this crucial conversation about implementing this wildlife conservation vision for the National Wildlife Refuge System.
That is so good. And let's plug that website again. That's americaswildlife.org/live. Thank you so very much. That's good. And so, gentlemen, where do we go from here? We have so much to offer at the conference this week. We wrap up on Friday, July the 15th, and we're starting today. So where do we go from here, Greg?
We have a lot of places to go. You know, we've just spent 2 years crafting what we feel is a pretty strong initial vision statement. We're really going to kind of put the finishing touches on it here. We're going to do a little of that ratification. But really what's important to come out of this with is implementation. We are going to take those bold ideas. We are going to look at the strategic growth of the refuge system. We are going to look at how you engage urban communities. We are going to look at what it means to have youth being a part of the next generation of conservation leaders. And we are going to implement and we are going to move forward on conservation for this country through the refuge system and the Fish and Wildlife Service and all of our partners and states and all the way, everyone included.
Okay, very good. I want to thank the both of you, Evan Hirsche, President of the National Wildlife Association, and Mr. Greg Siekaniec, Chief of the National Wildlife Refuge System. And once again, I'm Kim Betton with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Office of Public Affairs. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to you both, and thanks to you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.